speaking of Messi, obviously everyone knows how good his left foot is, especially from the dead ball situation. I know I've scored a couple of them on FIFA against you.
Yeah. Okay.
All know about that. But it would appear the teams in La Liga have figured out how to stop him.
Yeah, and I feel like this is, at least for us, how we play FIFA. We used to do this all the time.
This used to be
just,
standard.
Just put a couple guys in the goals and no one can score.
Yeah, just drop your player back onto the goal line and
there
sorted.
You go. Easy, you know.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like, why did teams not start doing this sooner? In a way, to at least that's how I saw it. But at least now they figured it out, and it's quite funny, to be honest.
Oh, it's hilarious watching him line up the ball, and then all of a sudden there's a wall, another wall,
Another wall, yeah.
and then there's a player on the line.
Yeah.
And I think, what can you do as Messi?
I mean, you got to have such pinpoint accuracy that it's got to go in top corner so that the defender, even if he jumps at his full height, the ball goes over his head. I mean, the level of precision.
But let's be honest, if there's a player with such precision, it's Messi.
And apparently not in 62 attempts.
This is true.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's... I wonder if it decreases the quality of football. So,
100%.
like, as an example, in tennis, what started happening was some guys would start doing these cheeky underhand serves. I don't know if you've ever seen them, right? So one of the players did that at Wimbledon, and Wimbledon is a very traditional tennis court. Like you want to see the traditional fast-paced serves, fast attacking tennis, and the player does this little cheeky serve, and he wins the point because it's you're not expecting it, so the ball just drops and boom, there's the point. But the crowd starts booing him. And I wonder if it's the same kind of concept here, because it's like, well, it's not a hack, but it feels kind of like a hack.
I think at the end of the day, it comes down to just sportsmanship. I think what you're saying about tennis is it's tough, and I guess the same thing with the football. I think at the end of the day, your goal is to score more goals than your opposition.
Yeah.
And obviously on the flip side of that is to not concede a goal. So if there's this guy who is notorious for scoring world-class free kicks, and he's in the position now against your team to score a free kick like that, of course you're going to do whatever you can to potentially stop him. That's why you've got a wall there. Hopefully the player hits it a bit too low, hits the wall. They jump and they manage to header it over. So I think now, look, is it in bad taste to make it that difficult for a player to score a goal? Probably yes.
Yeah, it is.
But at the same time, I guess you could argue that it's now testing Messi. What kind of a player is he still going to try and score the goal?
That's a fair point.
Is he going to try and be creative? Obviously, it's not just him on his own; it's the rest of the Barcelona camp. But it's tough though, because obviously these teams just don't want Messi to score.
But how far can you push this point? Because now you're starting to see, okay, you have the main wall with 3 players, and you have the goalie, and sometimes 2 players next to him. So the goalie's just standing in the middle to be able to take it from each side, and then a player on each side by the posts. How far do you take this? Because eventually, I mean, if imagine you have a player who's so good that he can score regardless of those 2 defenders in the goals, right? Now teams are going to start putting 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Why don't you just put the whole lineup? Why don't you just put everyone in the goals, right? So my point is like that defeats the. I know it's still within the rules of the sport, but I think traditionalists will look at that and go, "This is not what a free kick's supposed to be."
No, that I think is the big point is the traditionalists. I think obviously these Spanish clubs are now doing whatever they can to stop Leo Messi.
Yeah.
But whether or not we'll see it against other free kick takers in other leagues, will we see it in Italy when Ronaldo steps up to take a free kick? Will we see it in the Paris league? In the French league when Neymar steps up for PSG? Will you see it in the Premier League when De Bruyne steps up for a free kick? I don't think so. I think it's partly down to the fact that Messi had such a good conversion rate with his free kicks. But at the same time, I don't think it'll be around for long. I just think it's kind of a...
I think it's a fad.
Yeah. I think that some guy said, hey, why don't we try this? And it's working now.
It's working. Look, what's not broke, don't fix what isn't broke. So if it keeps going, I don't see why
Yeah.
clubs will stop. But yeah, to your point, they got to get more creative then.
No,
As
exactly.
an
All it
attacking-
takes is for Barcelona to come up with a new kick routine where they roll it
Exactly.
around.
There's
the
2
wall or
players
something
now
like that.
outside of the player area, the area.
exactly.
They're in the goals. Figure out a
Exactly.
way to take advantage of that.
Oh, exactly.
So fine, it will push the sport into a new area. But yeah,